have a fabric that's been in your inventory for so long that it's now considered vintage fabric, yeah. I'm actually going to use some of it today. Hello and welcome back. Happy New Year. It has been all the way since last year since I posted a video. I know everybody's making that joke. Sorry, I can't help myself. Anyway, so I have a new project in mind. I am in desperate need of a coat. And by coat, I just mean like a slightly warmer jacket than a hoodie. Our temps have dipped into the 40s. We've been having a lot of storms. And because of the fact that we're going to Ren Fair pretty much every weekend, I want something that will work for Ren Fair. I'm absolutely in love with this olive green and fur coat that is in Outlander. And the coat is originally Claire's and then gets hand-me-down to Brie. And it's so cute. It's so aesthetically pleasing to me. I wear a lot of green. And so for me, hold on a second. And so for me, green matches a lot of my already existing Ren Fair garb. And so it's a no-brainer. To make this coat, I have in my inventory already in existence McCalls 7442, and it requires almost minimal adjustments. The hood is a little on the small side. The peplum, I'm going to just make it more of a high-low, where it's slightly longer in the back than it is in the front. In Claire and Brie's coat, the front overlap comes over a little bit. And so I'm just going to add this section right here, and that is it. Everything else, like the pattern as is absolutely perfect. If you don't have this pattern, any pattern that basically any coat pattern that's a peplum would work. So, you know, the other thing that I love about this pattern is it does already have pockets. So I am very determined to spend as little money, if not no money, on this project whatsoever. And I am going to do as much as I possibly can from my inventory. Believe it or not, I think I can pull it off. So without further ado, let's get moving, because I have to, you know, I need to wear it this weekend. So I need to get my butt in gear. I have 4 yards of this mystery twill that has been in my inventory since 2003. Yeah, that's 21 years. Can we say hoarder? When I originally purchased it, I was still working at Joann's, and I guarantee you it was one of those red tag mystery bolts that usually shows up for $2 or $3 a yard. And I had every intentions of making myself a pirate coat. That didn't happen. It just ended up adding to the collection of mystery fabrics and has moved now with me 7 times. So, we're going to use this. It's currently black and white, and I can easily fix that with dye, but it'll take a huge chunk out of this wall that I'm dying to get rid of. To figure out the shade of green that I wanted to dye my fabric, I went over to ritdye.com and went over to the color formulas tab, and under green scrolled all the way down to the bottom where there are those really muddied, dark, brownish greens, and I felt that the color verdigris is the closest match, and all that requires is camel and dark green. So that should be pretty easy to make. So my green dye is now officially done. It's kind of hard to see in this lighting, but like on camera, but in natural lighting, it's really, really close to what I wanted it to be. So I'm happy with it, even if it's not showing up on camera correctly. While this was going through the dyeing process, I made all of the changes to my pattern off camera. So let me show you everything that I did. Starting from the bottom up, the peplum was the easiest in that I added 1.5 inches to the front of the peplum, and I added 4 inches to the back of the peplum, and then I graded it across the entire diameter of the circle. For the coat front bodice pieces, I added 2 inches to the front right there, and I came up 5/8 of an inch right here, and then cut it across at a 60-degree angle so that I can have this front overlap. And then I did the exact same thing to my front facing sections. And then the last thing that I did to change the pattern is I gave the entire hood 2 extra inches all the way around. But I ended it in the exact same point so I don't have to change the neckline of the original pattern. Because I'm really tactile sensitive, I want my lining fabric to be really soft on my skin. And I also do not want to actually go out and buy fabric for this. So for my lining layer, I'm going to use leftover flannel from my Mary Sanderson skirts. It's not quite the right shade of green, but it'll do. And I also found these mushroom cap brass buttons on Amazon. I think they were $6 for 10. So this is literally the only thing that I have purchased for this entire project. I got this faux fur snow leopard blanket from Joann's on clearance last Christmas. I think I only paid like $4 for it. And I've used it a couple of times to wrap around me as a cloak just with a brooch. But I think cutting it up and using it as the fur for the hood and cuffs is a much better use for it. I'll still have enough left over to make a proper cloak. And after discussing my ideas and thoughts with my blanket hoarder of a husband, his trepidation led me to believe that this was not the best idea. I then pivoted and went through some of my other scraps, and I found this gray wolf fabric, which I had originally discarded because I didn't think I had a big enough piece, and B, because I actually in my brain had thought that this was a much darker fur, but in the long run, it's actually perfect. I have got all of my pattern pieces cut out, and it actually doesn't look too difficult of a pattern based on what we need. We've got the bodice front, bodice back, the facing sleeve. For the sleeve cuff, for the fur, I just used the bottom 8 inches of the pattern. For the fur on the hat lining, I extended it by 3 inches so that I could make a little bit of an overlap. And then on the skirt pieces, essentially built the gores in so that way they're not a separate seam, and a Rollo stand-in. Okay, I have done quite a bit of work already today. The bodice was a very quick assembly because it's just the front is 2 pieces with darts, the back is 2 pieces with darts, and so then it's just assemble. Very straightforward. The hood I also have assembled. The hood I just decapitated my mannequin. The hood I have mostly assembled. So I've got the fur left and right put together, the tweed left and right put together, and I've just got them stacked and pinned until I'm ready to attach them as one piece to that. But what I need to do before I can attach the hood to the bodice is take all of this extra that I left intact and flip it over to make the cuff. Like that. And then hand stitch this in place. And then I'm going to use the furs selvage for catching my threads. Okay, I have the hood now fully assembled with my beautiful faux fur trim and lining in place. And so I just need to attach it like so. And then attach the lining and the sleeves and the peplum and the fur. Yeah, I still have a lot to do. So with the additional depth that I added to the hood, that now sits right about the same spot as Claire and Brianna's coat. Almost. It's getting there. This hood is quite a heavy girl. Okay, I have got the hood installed, but did me pretty lining. So I've left this open because I'm going to do my sleeve install a little different than the instructions. If you've ever done a coat with a cuff, I'm going to go a little bit closer to that. I will, once the sleeves are installed, then I'll come back to closing this seam. And I can get away with it because of the cuff and because of the fact that the bottom of this is still open. But it's coming along really nicely. I'm very happy so far. I'm excited. This hood has some weight. It's currently 47 degrees, so I'm actually having a little bit of worry that just flannel isn't enough of a lining. I did make it big enough that I can layer over other things, and that way I'm not constricted. So I should be okay, but I'm excited for chilly weather. I know up north is suffering hardcore, so I don't want to sound super, super selfish. But I need a coat. I have my sleeves assembled now, and I sewed the cuff to the base of my sleeve lining. Yes, my linings don't match. Well aware of it. I know. But like I said, not buying anything new for this project. Anyway, so I have this assembled, and I'm going to attach both my fashion sleeve and my sleeve lining to their respective pieces right sides together. And so it'll actually end up looking like this. And I haven't shoved them correctly through yet. And so I'm going to actually do that after I seal the front of this. And so now I have to do this side. Okay, so I have the left side sewn shut and then pushed my lining sleeve all the way through. So at this point, my to-do list consists of buttons and buttonholes, hemming the peplum, and top stitching this puppy in place, like so. Woo! Dance with me, love. Okay, I am at buttons and hem. So this fabric is actually very, how shall I put it? Mobile. The weave on here is quite loose, and so I'm worried that it'll stretch out of shape when I do the hem. And so I still haven't figured that out. Thinking if I had horsehair braid, that would be my go-to solution. I don't have horsehair braid, so maybe twill tape. I think maybe twill tape. Okay, so I just went through almost all of my inventory of ribbon, and I don't even have enough twill tape to do this. I would probably need about 8 yards, and I have like 3 yards of black twill tape. That's not gonna work. And so I think what I'm going to do is just hand stitch this hem, and then that way if I don't love it, I can always shift gears later and make adjustments as necessary. So yeah, I'm going to hand sew this hem and put some buttons, and I will see you in the reveal. Okay, final thoughts on my Claire and Brie winter coat. I am mostly happy with how it came out. I feel like I probably should have spent a little bit more time on fit, but I know I upsized on purpose because I have a tendency of wearing a lot of layers, and I didn't want to have to sacrifice that over fit. If I were to do anything else differently, I might have actually considered putting my buttonholes vertically instead of horizontally, but it's too late now to change that. I may go in and add snaps over here, but it's definitely not something that's a have to at the moment. He's so fluffy. Yeah, I'm happy. Overall, I'm happy. And then the only other thing that I may, it's not 100% positive, I'll sit on it and think about it for a little bit, is what I want to do with the hem of this. Because of the fact that I don't have any horsehair braid or twill tape on hand, I just did it as a roll hem for now, and if it irritates me, I can change it later. But this was definitely a project that how much could I do out of inventory without going and spending any money? So I think I accomplished that. Otherwise, I'm really happy with it. I know the green is not actually showing up on camera. It's still showing as gray. I'm hoping that I can get better photos of the color. Maybe I have to go outside. It's one of those things where it's been storming nonstop. We have been having rainstorms and tornadoes all over the county for the last 2 days. So getting outside to get better photos has been really rough. That being said, my friends, I will see you guys next time for more fun and shenanigans.